Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to what do we call this show again? I just say Blessing Inspire Live, but welcome to the Business Strategy Brand Strategy Show. So I am so happy to be with you today. Today I'm talking about it's your business, your ministry. I my in my mind I say it's like dealing with the elephant in the room, meaning it's a subject that can become very touchy at times, but I don't intend to create any controversy or any of those, but I intend to bring clarity. And that's what we're actually also going to talk about, clarity in business. I have a book that I'm working on, and it is called My Moment of Clarity. That book has been long time coming because as you travel on life's journey, you experience moments of clarity, not only one. So I think I'm at the place where I can really put it together, at least maybe volume one, maybe there'll be a volume two. But my moment of clarity, and it is so important to be clear in business. So it's your business, your ministry. We need to talk about that. We need to be very, very clear about it. So let's talk about it. And if you are here and you have a question, I know yesterday I didn't really look at my comments and I was not paying attention in that direction. But if you are here, you can um, ask the question. If I don't see it now, I will see it later. So I want to start by giving us these two examples. Supposing you are in two students enrolled in a university. One student knows very much that they want to study medicine, they want to go into the medical field. And another student is not sure. They're undecided, the undeclared. They just know they need to be in college, but they don't know what to major in. After 3 years, let's even say the beginning of the fourth year, the student that is undecided, it's still not sure what they really want to focus on. And then the student that is, maybe pre-med, is just about rounding up this is their final year. In those two scenarios, what do you think is the advantage or the cost to either of those students? What is the pros and the cons for either of those students? The student that knew exactly what he wanted to do was able to enroll in the university, was able to get started, studying what they want to study. They didn't have to waste time. They didn't have to waste resources. They were able to save time, let me say. They were able to save time because they took the classes they needed to take and they, saved money. Now let's talk about the student that's undecided, that's unsure, that's unclear about what to really study. They are going to end up taking a lot of different classes, trying to find what it is they really want to focus on or major in. And so they might take, some business classes, they may take some, and then actually they'll end up taking a lot of electives so that any of the majors they decide to focus on, they could credit, the electives towards that major. But by the time it's the fourth year and this student is still not sure what to major in, I think you and I will agree that, wow, this is not good. This is not good because at this fourth year now, if this student becomes clear and now it has clarity that I want to now major in, let's say, business and or any other major, what has been lost is time. And what has been lost, wasted is resources, financial resources, because all this time he has had to be in school. He has had to pay for room and board. He has had to pay for the classes that he was taking, right? So sometimes I think if even in college, maybe one would recommend, why not pause and then really find out what you want to do and then come back and continue. So also in business, when we're not sure what business we're in, it can waste a lot of time and resources because we end up like that student. we're doing things, but we're not really doing anything that is leading us to a particular end, that is leading us to anywhere that we will want to be. So at the end of the day, we have a lot of activities. We've done some things. We might have even made some, impact in different things. But because we're not clear about the business that we're in, we're still just in a type of a limbo, right? So sometimes we are leaning towards one side, at other times we're leaning towards another, and never really making progress in one direction or the other. So now another example I want to give you is, you know, I'm supposed to have my driver's license. And I've promised a friend of mine that I'm going to get that driver's license. I think I need to really sit up and work on that. But even if you don't have your driver's license, you've been on some type of a trip, I will believe. You've maybe ridden in a car, in a bus, somehow you've gotten a ride, you know. When you get, let's say you're in a car and you're about to start driving to go somewhere. The scenario where you know exactly where you want to go to, I need to go to the mall. One of my favorite places, by the way. I need to go to the mall to know where you're going. Versus we get into the car, like, sometimes when, my younger days, you can get into a car with friends, or you just get together with friends and you guys know you want to go somewhere, but you don't know where you want to go to. Where do we want to go to? We don't know. Then we're trying to like figure it out. So imagine being in a car and you know you want to go somewhere, but you don't know where you want to end up at. So you just start driving. Sometimes that happens too in business. You just start a business and you just start moving around like in a car, and you just start driving saying, well, let me just see where the road leads me, or well, let me see where I end up. In that kind of a way, you're more, you don't really have any specific destination in mind. So you're like, well, let me see. Let me just get in the car and start driving, which is okay to a certain degree, even in business. Many times you may not really be sure what business you're really in, but you just know you want to be in business and you have something to start with. So you start with that and you just say, well, let me just see how it goes. And then, I know I'll end up somewhere. You definitely will. I think the issue would be, will you end up where you want to be? So in strategy, while yeah, you could take your chance and move around and find your way, and then maybe you end up maybe where you're like, oh, I actually like this. Strategy helps you to, from the very beginning, let's sit down and let's try and figure out, where do you want to go? Um, what do you think your destination is likely, so that, once again, as with the previous example, we can save you time and we can save you resources. Because when you don't know exactly where you want to go, you're going to make some turns and change roads. You're going to sometimes go by what you're seeing, what you see, what looks to you like that should be, and that may not be, so. But when you're very clear, when you have clarity, which is the first step in strategy, the first step is to, let's get clear. When you're clear on exactly where you want to end up, even if there are delays on the road, construction, there's weather condition, you still know where you're heading to. So it's different, and you are more likely empowered to avoid making some certain turns that are only a distraction, that would only delay your time. Whereas also you can make some certain turns, make a stop, make a turn that only fuels you and helps you even more on the journey. Like when you're on a long road trip and you stop by the gas station, right, to buy refreshments or to use the restroom. So it's the same thing in business. So, but the issue of clarity is so important, because when we are clear on the business that we're in and the business that we're not, it can save us time and resources. So one of the things that I have found in especially among kingdompreneurs, and by kingdompreneurs, I mean people that are doing business, driven they are kingdom driven, meaning they have a desire to really, serve God and see His kingdom come and really to further the gospel, even by means of their business. So sometimes I've seen where there's a type of a confusion, as in my business is my ministry, um, or so the question is your business your ministry? And the answer is yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that the terminologies these days have come to mean so many different things. Our understanding, even of ministry, is not like what it used to be, where if it's a ministry, it's like you're starting a church, you have, you have an evangelical ministry. We don't understand it in that light alone. So people would say, as a stay-at-home mom, you're in ministry, your family is your first ministry. And so don't devalue or don't look down on anything that you're doing, thinking that you're not really serving the Lord, that you're serving the Lord, because minister means to serve, right? So if you're ministering, then and you're serving your family as unto the Lord, that's your ministry. And if you're doing your business as unto the Lord to serve people, that's your ministry. So that's why I say there's a yes and a no, depending on how you are defining that word ministry. But then the no is that your business is not your ministry, because when you're doing a business, you require payment. You're not in business. If you're in business and you're offering your services for free, you're also not in business. If you're in business and your services are free, no charge, you're not in business. You have a charitable organization or you have a hobby. It's not a business. If you're in business, you're charging for your services. You are charging people in order to render a service or to give them a product. If you're not doing that, as I said, because sometimes many of us say we're in business, and yet we are always offering, we're always doing things for free. The very things that we are offering in our business, we're doing it for people for free. So say for an example, you're a social media manager. So you say you're in business, but then you're helping people with their social media and you're not charging them, then you're not in business. You're maybe fulfilling a hobby, or you're doing charitable work. So that's the other thing too. You could be in business, you could be in ministry, or you could just be a non-for-profit organization. You could just be doing charitable work. So if you are in business, you require payment. You require payment at one point or the other in order to render a service, in order to give of a product. So therefore also, if people know that you're in business and they're expecting you to give of your services and of your products at no charge, it's also not, in my opinion, right. Because a business cannot function if it continues to just offer services at no charge. So the reason I'm saying this too is because there are sometimes, situations where people, like, let's say you're a social media manager and that's your business. If you decide, let's say, to, offer that services to, let's say, church or whatever, and you don't want to charge based on, whatever, that's fine. But I think that it's a wrong expectation for people to expect that someone that is in business should offer the same services that they are using for their business at no charge. I think you can ask, but I think if you get, like, upset, like, why is this person charging for this? That's their work, that's their business, right? So if, to help you to know, am I in business or am I in ministry, is, am I going to require people to pay before I render the service? After, is there a payment requirement? Are they going to owe me money after I render the service? Ministry, on the other hand, is something that is done, especially, for people of faith, to edify people, to lift up, to grow people spiritually and otherwise. But you do that without requiring them to pay, without requiring them to pay. Now, both of them, because you're a ministry, let me say, does not mean that people cannot give to you, that people cannot bless you financially, or that means that you are going to do the work and not get any financial benefit. No, it does not mean that. It just means that as far as you are concerned, you are rendering the service without putting out a charge or a fee for the ones you're rendering the services to. So one example that comes to my mind, like I said, is we all have, different countries. We all have what we call minister of this, minister of that, minister of this. When they are rendering the service that they are called upon to render by their government, they're not charging the citizens, right? The minister of, I don't know, agriculture or the minister of health is not charging the citizen a fee for administering their duty, but they are compensated by their government. So also, I feel in the things of the kingdom, if you're in ministry, you're compensated by the Lord, and the Lord has set up ways to compensate you. Meaning, the people can give, people can bless you. As you're blessing them, as you're serving them, people can bless you. And I don't know whether I could put a cap on the amount of blessing or what people decide to do for you. No. So people can bless you. So just in the same way that there won't be that expectation from those you're serving to they must pay me, is the same light that one that is in ministry, you're really entering it with a heart of, I just feel led to do this, and I feel led to help people in this way grow their faith. And if it's not like you must pay. So one of the clear-cut example is, let's say we're prayer to pray. And then I say, I feel the Lord has called me to gather women and let's come together, let's pray. Now, if I say that for you to join our prayer, there's a fee, really that has become a business. That's no longer ministry. But if people come and we pray, and at the end of the prayer, we take an offering or people decide to give or bless, it's still a ministry. It's just that people are still free to give. People are still free to bless you financially. But it's not required in order for them to participate or to gain or to be blessed. Okay. Even by let's say you have gifts from the Lord. So sometimes I um, feel it's a certain way when, let's say, and I can't even speak really in that office because I'm not at that place, but when people are in ministry and then you also see a consultation fee for, let's say, prayer or prophecy, you know, I guess for me, it's fine. I guess now you're doing business. And so then the question becomes, is it right to use spiritual gifts and sell them? Because of also the scripture that says, freely you have received, freely give. The issue we can get very, very technical, and we can, start to go down, a rabbit hole. But at the end of the day, if what you're doing, you're requiring people to pay you, you're requiring people to first pay you in order for you to render, then that's a business. And even if it is what you're rendering is spiritual things, it's a business. And can your business be it's a ministry in the sense of the first definition I gave, the way I described it? Yeah, you can look at your business. You're doing it as unto the Lord. You're serving people. It's, you can say I use my business. It's like my ministry in that I use it. It's what I use to serve the Lord. It's what I use to serve people. But it's a business, because at the same time, sometimes it gets confusing, even for people that are not of faith. When you say, I'm having a coaching program, and we're going to pray, we're going to share in the word, we're going to reflect and have quiet time, we're going to go through, like, everything is very ministry-like, and then you say, but there's a fee for this to join. Sometimes the persons might be, is this a church, or is this a ministry, or is this a business? So I think that we've also blurred the lines where people don't know, persons that are not of faith may not even know, is this a business or is this a ministry? everything that you're doing and saying looks like a ministry, but then there's a gate fee, there's a fee. So it looks like it's a business because it's charging. And so because of that too, sometimes there's a pushback where people are like, why are you charging for, things that you ought to do free? So I also want to say that there is no pressure. I don't think that there should be a pressure to say I'm in ministry or this is a ministry, because I believe that business is honorable as well. I believe God loves entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs are needed also in the kingdom. So if you're in business, I believe it's okay to just, you're in business. As I said, in everything that we do, we should do it as unto the Lord. Everything that we do, our whole life is, given to the Lord. So there is no part of me that I'm going to say this is not, and this part is not. So in that sense, yeah, you're doing everything as unto the Lord. But I can be very, very clear that, I mean, this is my business. This is my work. This is my job. Am I doing my job as unto the Lord? Yes, but this is my job. I don't turn around and say my job is my ministry. I can say that in a sense, but I don't really say that because I know that this is the work that I do. So the same thing in business. It's okay to say you're in business, and that's fine. And if you're in ministry, it's okay to say you're in ministry. I was also saying before that some of the terminologies have gotten a bit mixed up in that, before some of these words really were heavy. When you say you've been called, it's like you received a calling, like, like God has really spoken to you to do this work or to do this. So when we even use the term I'm called into business, and then tomorrow we decide that we're no longer doing a business. So it's like, okay, you were called into this. You really, it's something that, like, this is what you're called into. Of course, I know the Lord can move us and, change us different times and different seasons. But I just feel that many of us use terminologies and say things without really, understanding and maybe feeling a need. Um, and also sometimes people are looking for what to do in business, like they really want to do something in business. They don't know what to start with. And we've been encouraged to look at our passion. We've been encouraged to look at what we love, what we can talk about all day, every day, at any moment, waking up from sleep. And sometimes kingdompreneurs will be like, I could talk about the Lord, I could talk about Jesus all day. You could wake me up, I could talk about, Jesus. So then it's like, okay, so should I do a business in where I talk about Jesus and I help people to know Jesus and I encourage people, and then it's like, yeah, you could do that, and then charge a fee, for it. So I want to also, before I end or go, say you can bring in ministry activities into your business, and that is fine. What do I mean? You can have a business just like you can have a medical clinic, and your patients come in and you could pray with them, or you could be, have scriptures in your building, or, you could share even the scriptures with them. Like you can bring in ministerial activities, and it still is okay even as a business. And of course, even in ministry, you have to bring in business, some business acumen, meaning, some certain structures, certain things that are done in business, you would bring it into ministry to set up systems and structures and, conduct things with a certain type of strategy that businesses use, but it's just a very different approach. It's a very different approach, even in the marketing, and that is why I stopped. And even we as a community, we don't help people to grow your ministry. We can give you some business, strategies that are used that can help a ministry, but I can't help you to grow your ministry, because if you are in ministry, which is given to you and called upon you by the Lord himself will grow your ministry, honestly. Does that mean that you should not do some certain things, be on social media, print flyers, let people know that there's a service going on, or that they can join you for prayer or join you for this? No, you can do all those things. But I really believe that so many people, not so many, let me just say from some of my experiences, I found out that people are called into ministry, and believe it or believe it, the enemy is going to come against you. So there's going to be that pressure even for funds. So sometimes in an attempt to help fund the ministry that the Lord has called us to, we can start to look into, well, let me do something to help the ministry. And I believe that the Lord will lead you and guide one that is called into ministry. And sometimes it might give you a business idea, but that business idea will not conflict with the ministry. So the other question is, can you do both? Yes, you can be in business and you can be in ministry at the same time. You just really have to keep the lines very clear. Okay. And also the posture in your heart should not be, this business is what is going to support and help this ministry to grow. If it is ministry, it's always a reliance on the Holy Spirit, growing the ministry, growing the work as He wants to grow it. Even with a business, even with a career, but your reliance is on the government that set you up in this work. So you can do both, but when I say keep the lines clear, meaning, just like I said also before, if you are in business, don't conduct it as a ministry and feel like you can't charge, and you're offering a lot of your services at no charge, no fee. And at the same time, if you're in ministry, this setting up for people to pay before they receive, ministerial activities that will bless them, I don't think it's in alignment with what the Lord will have us do. But you can do both and keep the lines clear. Don't use the audience that the Lord brings to you for you to minister to them, to turn them into clients. But you can definitely, people that are brought to you for business, I say that also with a caution, because it's also, I don't feel okay for people to come to you for business services. Let's say they hiring you for social media management, but most of what you're doing is praying and sharing scriptures and doing everything else except managing their social media. So that too is not okay. So by that I mean, we have some kingdom entrepreneurs who say they're in business, but everything they're doing is like as if it's a ministry. And so you really need clarity. You need clarity on what business are you in, what service, what is the problem that you solve, and is this problem worth people? Are they ready to invest to have this problem solved? So when we're clear on the business that we're in, when we're clear on the business that we're not, it will go a long way in helping us to arrive at our destination quicker without wasting much time and resources. I don't know if I've really done justice to this topic today, and probably may not be the last time that we talk about it. There might be another time that I still come back and talk about, still share some more light, because the clarity, another aspect of clarity is when you're clear on the business that you're in and the business that you're not, you're able to say no to some certain things that would only distract, that would only, cost you money when you're clear. But when you're not clear, everything that anybody comes to you with, you say yes. And that is not a good model for business. So like I said, we'll probably revisit this issue again, and maybe the next time too, I will give you some guidelines for those of you that are already in business, how to really focus in the services you offer, how to niche in what you're offering and not be a Jackie or a jack of all trades, right? I've been there, done that, and it is not nice. There's time for everything. But anyway, I've been going on for a minute, so I need to stop. Tomorrow will be our first, we'll make 1 week of coming live. So I also want to leave you with this. In your business, what is the one thing you've decided to do differently? And how is it going? When did you start? And how is it going? Also, if you think that what I've shared today would be a blessing or someone else needs to hear it, please share this video, let someone else also be able to watch. Okay, I said private, I don't know. I hope you're seeing me, but I think I have people joining me. So thank you so much for joining me. I will see you same time tomorrow. And until then, stay blessed. Have an awesome, awesome rest of your day. And I will talk with you tomorrow. God bless.